This is Dr. Garth Fisher with The Cutting Edge, and today on The Cutting Edge, we're joined by the most recognized and respected name in modern dentistry, a man who redefined what a smile can mean. Dr. Bill Dorfman is not just a world-renowned cosmetic dentist. He's also an innovator, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and media pioneer. Best known to millions as the featured dentist on ABC's hit show Extreme Makeover and CBS's The Doctors, he's transformed countless lives and helped shape the global standard of aesthetic dentistry. As the founder of Discus Dental, the company behind industry-changing products like Zoom Whitening, Dr. Dorfman helped revolutionize smiles across the world. He's been honored with more awards than most could dream of, authored best-selling books, and continues to inspire through his philanthropic work with the LEAP Foundation, empowering young leaders to dream big and give back. From his Beverly Hills practice to international stages, Dr. Bill Dorfman has built a legacy of excellence, compassion, and innovation, proving that dentistry, when done at the highest level, is both science and art. Please welcome the legendary Dr. Bill Dorfman.
Thank you,
It's good to have you on this show.
Thank you.
And we go back so far. We'll talk about Extreme Makeover. And I remember when Howard Schultz came to me to start that show, he said, we need a dentist. I said, there's only one. And it was you. And then we got, I think, Maloney for Dr. Maloney, who's fantastic.
Yeah, we put together a whole team.
It was a great team.
We got married together, had kids together, got divorced together, but with different people.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've gone through a lot.
I know. We have been through a lot, and we've been on TV so many times. Well, let's start from the beginning. What inspired you to pursue dentistry, and did you ever think you'd ever go to the point where you're a household name all around the world?
I mean, I have to admit, dentistry has exceeded every expectation I ever had. It was an accident. As a kid, I fell down and I hit the coffee table and I knocked out my baby teeth, and that was the beginning. I was 3 years old, and we had a great family dentist. We just lost him recently, Richard Feinstein, and he just kind of took me under his wing. And I was never a normal kid. I was always weird. Like,
you're not normal now.
No, I'm not.
No,
I've never been normal. But
Yeah.
most kids would be petrified after going through something like that. I was so intrigued by everything going on. Mm-hmm. And then when my brothers, I'm the oldest of five, brothers and sisters would come into the office, I would ask him to shadow him. And I was only like 4.
Right.
And I thought, this is what I want to do. I want to fix people like that. And it just never wavered.
That's fantastic. It's a great story. We got inspired at a very, very early age to do this. So you're known as American's dentist. I know that must feel good. What's that title mean to you personally? How does that feel?
I mean, I think whenever you are fortunate enough to have recognition like that, it also comes with a lot of responsibility too. And, I know you and I both get a lot of credit for what we did on Extreme Makeover, but it wasn't our idea. I mean, it was ABC's idea. It was Howard Schultz's idea.
Yeah.
We were just the conduit for it. And I was a little braver than you were when we went on because, you kind of felt like, let's have a whole team of plastic surgeons. I'm like, no, I want to be the only dentist.
Right.
And I understand why you did that. But the other hand, nobody ever watched the show and said, they should keep the bad teeth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it was never controversial. Everybody said 100% of the time, fix the teeth, right?
It's still important today. Every makeover.
It still is. But, with plastic surgery, you had to go, some uphill battles sometimes. And that was never my case. So I thought, as long as I'm going to do this, I want to be the only dentist, and I want to highlight our whitening product.
Right.
And ABC was really permissive at the time. We were the birth of reality TV, and we got to do stuff that they would never allow today.
Well, they say buffalo in middle of herd catch no arrow, and we were right at the very front. And I know arrows were coming my way. There's a huge backstory to my involvement, because the societies didn't want me in the pro. It's all kind of jealousy, which is a very destructive emotion.
Yeah,
but
whereas we
yours was
always
great.
talked about that. Dentistry embraced it.
Yeah.
Cosmetic dentistry in North America increased by more than 30% the first year we were on the show.
That's right.
And that was, I mean, I would walk through airports and dentists would walk up and shake my hand and say, "Thank you for what you've done for dentistry." It's crazy. And that was because of you, Garth. You put me
and
in
some
there.
people did that, but plastic surgery was a little bit more, the people trying to kick me out of societies were the same ones trying to get in the back door to be on the show, which
Right.
of course CBC was telling me about. But like you said, within 1 year, it increased the number of plastic surgery and cosmetic dentistry procedures by 30%. The second year was 65%,
Yeah.
which I don't think I could have written 1,000 papers and we couldn't have had that
Listen,
effect. It was amazing. For
This
people.
is the first time that dentistry was ever highlighted on primetime TV in a positive light.
Plastic surgery too.
Yeah, it wasn't Little Shop of Horrors or Marathon Man. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, we got to show people the good things that we could do in a really positive way. At the time I was married to a woman who was on The Apprentice, and every week she was scared to death that they were going to make her look bad, which wasn't hard to do. You and I, we look good week after week because ABC would never let the doctors look bad, right?
Yeah. It was a great family, and poor Howard. I mean, I feel bad. Him and Tana. He's such a wonderful guy. So we're going to get into the extreme makeover experience a little bit in the show. When you started, you fell down, hit your mouth. You've been shadowing dentists. Who were some of your early mentors or influences in dentistry and in business? Because you become quite the businessman. And
I had two big mentors. In dentistry, it was Jeff Golub Evans. He was, and also I worked for a dentist in Beverly Hills who was the preeminent cosmetic dentist of the time.
Dr. Supertooth?
No, Dr. Supertooth. He was in New York. And Danny at Da Vinci Dental. But Jeff Golub Evans is the dentist who taught me how to work with a publicist. And, that was never done in dentistry at the time. In fact, advertising was considered a bad word, but I grew up poor and I needed to make money to support my parents, my grandparents, and all my wives and my kid and everything.
Right.
So, it was kind of a necessary evil, and we always did it within the guidelines. So.
Right. We were very ethical. Everything was very professional, ethical, and looked good for our prospective professions. What's the biggest lesson you learned transitioning from being just a clinician and dentist to a global brand now? And I would think, any dentist listening that knows you, that looks you up, is like, if I could be half of what you have become, it's like, wow, that's just a high ceiling.
For me, the rising tide raises all ships. I have always had an open door policy in my office. I have over 100 dentists a year that just come and shadow me, and I've always lectured. And when I walk in, one of my favorite things in the world, and I never charge for it, is to go and speak at dental schools. And the first thing that I tell these students is, I hope that you have half the satisfaction out of your career that I've had out of mine. And I'm not standing here to brag. I'm standing here to tell you what I did successfully, because I copied a lot of other really successful people, so that you can copy me and be more successful. And anything I can do to help you gain success, I'm all in. And so I think that's a really important thing, is just helping other people.
You've been so always giving, always have integrity. Your character is as high as anybody that I know, and just flawless with your profession, representing your profession. And it's just a breath of fresh air. Things have changed in almost all industries. And it's nice. You're so honest and always happy. You seem like you're always happy, I think.
Can I tell you something? I am one of the happiest, most grateful people you'll ever meet. I wake up every morning and just count my blessings and know how fortunate I have been.
Right.
And I mean, when I sold Discus in 2010, everybody's like, dude, why don't you retire? I hate golf. What am I going to do?
Right.
You know?
We love this. This is what
I
we love.
love going to work
Of
and
course.
treating patients. Like, that's just my thing.
People that I know that have retired, and a lot of them are so successful they can, they get so bored and their brain just like starts to shrink and like, I've got to get back and do something. So I think retirement is like, I just don't see that as something that seems enjoyable. You know, I'm kind of doing what I do now as a hobby now, and I enjoy
Right.
other things, but this is the only thing I'm good at it really, but what I do. So you always seem to be on a sugar high. Your spirit and your enthusiasm and your passion is always just at a 10. And I know you don't eat candy. You've never had alcohol. You've never smoked. You've never taken a drug. You've never done anything. You probably have the cleanest body blood test that anybody could ever have, but you're always up and up. So you helped pioneer modern cosmetic dentistry. What do you consider was the most significant innovation? And I know we've got some products I want to go over, but
probably there were two. Number one was Zoom tooth whitening. Robert Heyman, my other mentor and best friend and business partner, and I grew our dental company from 0 to $1.3 billion in sales before selling it. And we made Zoom the number one in-office whitening product in the world. But I'll tell you what else. When you asked me that question, I was thinking about, I think the other thing was removing the fear from dentistry. You know, you and I, when we practice, we have a very intimate interaction with the patient, their family, with it. But ABC gave us an opportunity to take that and actually, you know, spread it worldwide.
Right.
And I think for the first time, people realize, like, I don't have to live with these bad teeth.
That's true.
And it's not that bad. You know, the patients would come on and say, it wasn't that bad, you know? I mean, and if in a worst case scenario, if they're super, super scared, we just put them to sleep and they wake up with a whole new mouth.
Right.
But I think that giving people the confidence to change something that was really detrimental to their life was huge.
Yeah, that's what gives us, you know, so much gratitude and happiness is seeing the actual smile on the face, and
Right.
we seeing the smile, happiness, and increased confidence for our patients, and that's really what drives us and makes it so enjoyable. And I mean, I saw so many mouths and lives that you changed. And you're right, you know, people come see us all the time with, you know, plastic surgery needs, and if you don't get that smile right, that's part of it, because you know you have a beautiful face and a bad smile. You need the smile.
Yeah, it's actually funny because when we first started the show, they sent all the patients to you first, then for a psych evaluation, and then to me. And then when they started realizing, like, they were giving me people, I had a guy come in with 100 teeth. I'm like, you guys, I can't do this. Yeah, like, what can I do?
How do you 100 teeth?
It was like a shark. Yeah. I mean, he had 100 teeth in his mouth. So then they kind of switched it around and let you and I see them first before they went on and planned the psych evaluation and all that.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember the 100 teeth guy, but I remember some of that. You know, just trying to build that program out was very complicated, but it just worked out perfectly in the end. How have patients' expectations changed with social media and the Hollywood Smile trend? I mean, you wrote the bestseller Hollywood Smile book. How have you seen Instagram affect your business?
I mean, social media didn't even exist when we started all this, but I think that today it's an integral part of education. You know, I mean, I sit and watch what's happening in the Middle East on social media. It's even better than some of the news stations. Right. So, you know, I think it's really kind of cool because, you know, when we first started doing Extreme Makeover, the dental IQ of most patients was really low. And by the time we were like well into the first or second season, people would walk into my office and say, you know what? I need 6 porcelain veneers, Invisalign, and Zoom whitening. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Done. You know, let's schedule.
That is amazing.
And I think with social media now, people come in a lot better informed and knowing what their options are before we even talk to them. So I'm all for it, you know, and as a result, you know, I hired a whole social media team. I mean, I have 2.3 million followers. I have more than any other dentist in the world. And it's a daily, battle to get new content out there, to track it, to respond to people. By the way, it's actually me. If you DM me, I don't send this off to a service. I actually respond to every single DM, right? Garth's wife is right here. She DMs me occasionally and we DM back and forth. But that's me. I do it.
I don't have a social media team. I really haven't spent any energy on it. I probably should, but I've got a day filled up so much. It's just, and we're lucky to have enough of a waiting list where it's probably not a important thing for me to do. But I enjoy looking at social media, and I know you're very, very good at all that. What's the most common misconception about cosmetic dentistry you think today?
I think that there's a lot of really stupid stuff on social media, like charcoal toothpaste. It doesn't work. It doesn't whiten your teeth, or actually even whitening toothpaste is the biggest misnomer in the world. There is no toothpaste that can whiten your teeth. The only thing that can whiten your teeth is hydrogen peroxide or carbamide peroxide. And even if that's in your toothpaste, it needs at least 10 minutes of exposure time. So, and then there's this other misnomer about, these whitening products have no peroxide. They also have no results. You can't whiten teeth with lemon juice and all these weird things.
How do they advertise that?
Because they just lie. I mean, there's no truth in advertising. They can say whatever they want. They show these like documented, photographs that are all docked up, and they just it's not true. It's just not true. And that's why. Well, I'm going to lead you into this. That's why I invented poof. So when we sold Zoom tooth whitening, I had to sign a non-compete. Well, lucky enough, it expired during the pandemic. And while you and I were sitting home because we couldn't treat patients, I was contacted by a dental company. They said, Dr. Bill, make us a new whitening product that's novel and unique, and we'll market it. And we came up with Poof. So Poof are whitening strips that dissolve on your teeth. So at the end of the treatment, you don't have to pull them off. They actually melt in 10 to 15 minutes. They're 37% more effective than the leading whitening strips. They've got great taste, and it's a zero sensitivity formula. And this product is going to become a category killer. I think it will be the number one take-home whitening product in the world within a year.
How long has that been out?
We just launched it at Christmas, so it's almost a year now, and we've been kind of building up, and we're just starting to really market it. But we're at a big trade show, and we sold tons and tons of this product.
How often do you apply this?
So you do it once a day for 10 days the first time, and then after that, you can just do touch-ups, a few times a month if you want. And it's super easy. A lot of women do it while they're putting on their makeup and whatever.
Obviously, if you have veneers, you don't need to do it. Right?
Well, you can't bleach veneers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it works on natural teeth, and it's pretty easy to apply. You just put it on and go about your business.
When was the first veneer developed?
The very first veneer I ever did was in 1987. Danny from Da Vinci Dental Studios literally came into my office, sat down with me, and helped me do it. And it was on my sweet, sweet neighbor, Miss Mary Alice McCarthy.
Wow.
And
you remember her?
She passed away about 5 or 6 years ago at the ripe old age of 90. And every time I saw her, she'd say, that's that tooth it was the only white tooth she had, because all her other teeth turned brown over time. She'd go, that's the tooth you did in 1987, and it stayed white.
That's funny. It's a great story. I'm here with Dr. Bill Dorfman on The Cutting Edge with Dr. Garth Fisher, and Dr. Dorfman is a world-renowned dentist known on Extreme Makeover, and he's made so many products. And Bill, you co-founded Discus Dental, which became a major industry disruptor. How did that company reshape dentistry?
Well, let me first tell you how Discus Dental started, because it was really funny.
Okay.
Every time in my life that I sincerely, philanthropically wanted to give back, I ended up making a ton of money.
Wow.
Without even trying. So I'm at Sports Club LA, and this was in its heyday, in the 80s.
Right.
And some woman walks up to me. Her name was Cynthia Hearn. I didn't even know her. She said, would you like to help raise money for children's cancer research? I said, well, sure, but I'm not very wealthy. I just started practicing. She goes, that's okay. She goes, well, you are a dentist, right? I'm like, yeah. She goes, and you're single, right? I'm like, yeah, weird. She goes, no, we're having a bachelor auction and we need 10 guys. I'm like, all right, we have 1,000 women. We're going to have 10 guys and we're going to auction you off for children's cancer research. I'm like, okay. It was humiliating.
With Robert Heyman, I think.
I met Robert Heyman, who is still my best friend in life. I just got off the phone with him. He says hi, by the way. And Robert grew up in the cosmetic industry. His father, Fred Heyman, created Giorgio Cosmetics. He had an MBA from Boston. And so Robert knew business. He knew marketing. He knew product production. I knew dentistry. And together we made our first whitening product. And Robert and I have been best friends ever since. And we grew that company from 0 to $1.3 billion in sales and sold it.
Yeah, that's a great story. I've always admired you for that. And Extreme Makeover was a large part of the growth of that.
It was huge. Listen, our sales grew and grew, and we kind of plateaued. Right before Extreme Makeover, we were at like 67 million a year in sales. And there was all this competition with white strips and this and that and the other thing. The first year on the show, our sales jumped to 101 million. The second, 134 million. And by the time we did the third year, we were at 200 million a year in sales.
Yeah.
So thank you, Garth.
I'm glad you gave me that 10%. That was so nice.
Well, look around you.
Just kidding with you. I'm kidding with you. So happy for your success. So what's it like for you dealing with the high profile and celebrity patients? What's that like?
You know what?
Any difference?
And I know this sounds like lip service, but it's true. I try to treat every patient like a high profile.
I understand.
The biggest challenge with people that are like on TV or in movies is they've got very limited time, and they make their living based on their looks.
Yeah.
So it kind of ups the ante a bit, right?
Well, there's more pressure for sure.
There is more pressure, but I like it.
Yeah, I do too. And these people are looking at high definition, mile long worth of video and constantly staring at this stuff. So they're able to notice, pore size and everything else. And so it's different dealing with them.
But, like you, my favorite kind of patient is the one that says, you know what, Dr. Bill, I trust you. Just give me a natural, beautiful smile, and those are the cases that come out the best. When people come in and they want their teeth so white that nobody in the world has teeth that color.
Right.
It's hard, you try and talk about
Can you darken them without taking them out?
No. It's hard. And there are times when I've made patients' teeth way whiter than I wanted to, but there's a person attached to the tooth and you got to make that guy or woman
they're asking
happy.
for it. I like some of the cases, the worst ones that come in, they're just total disasters. Like, wow, this is really going to change their life. That's been very gratifying for me as a plastic surgeon. And I've seen, those cases that came to you. I don't know if they ever had any teeth.
Yeah.
And you put a whole full mouth.
Right.
What you did was spectacular. And I look at people, I said, don't worry, Bill's going to be able to make your mouth look beautiful. And you succeeded on all those occasions. And that's why you're where you are today. I want to talk a little bit about Extreme Makeover and how that changed your career. And I know it helped start Discus Dental, and there's a lot of publicity associated with all that stuff, and you got very busy. What all did you learn from that? How was that experience for you?
First of all, it was completely uncharted waters. Like I didn't even know what to expect. When we shot the pilot, quite honestly, I was kind of like skeptical. Like, are they gonna, exploit the patients? Is this gonna be good? Is this gonna be bad? But I loved, Garth. I loved, Howard and Jackie Pittman.
Yeah.
And I really had a lot of faith. And, when I realized that we could really change these people's lives in a positive way, and all of these people that were selected, they could never even afford to have done what
that
what
was
we
what touched
did.
me. I mean, it was just, taking people from God knows where that couldn't pay for anything, and then they're princess or king for a day, queen
Right.
for a day. And when Howard first came to me and pitched the idea to me, my practice, I had a year waiting list. I thought, this is going to ruin my practice. I said, I don't want to do it, Howard. I don't want to do this show. And then he says, please. I said, no. And he went out and interviewed, a bunch of other plastic surgeons for 3 months. He came back for 2 months. He said, Garth, I really want you to do this show. And I talked to him a little bit longer, and I just felt the trust. I want to have developmental control. I want to get my team together. I want to have you and some of these other people. And I just trust him so much. I said, let's go with it. And then the first night, 24 million people. It was like absolutely huge.
Huge.
So, it was a great, great time, and maybe again one day. Bill, for all the extreme makeover patients, which one was the most memorable to you?
It had to be Deshante. She came in with a cleft lip, cleft palate. This is a beautiful young woman who never kissed anybody her entire life because she was so self-conscious. So we repaired her lip. I gave her teeth because she was missing her front teeth. And within 3 months of the show, she was married and having kids.
Incredible. What are kickballs, caffeine? What is kickballs? I guess it wakes you up.
Well, during the pandemic, while you and I were sitting home because we couldn't see patients, I decided to just invent more stuff. And so the first one was Poof, which is the dissolving tooth whitening strips. The second one are kickballs. So what this is, it's 110 milligrams of caffeine in a sugar-free gumball, right? So just picture like Red Bull in a gumball. It's a lot more convenient, right? I mean, you're not going to take a Red Bull in your pocket when you go to the gym. I use this as a pre-workout. Every time I go to the gym, I have kickballs. Or you're driving, you're tired at night, you don't have to like pull over and find a gas station. Plus, truckers say they love it because when they drink a lot of coffee, they got to go to the bathroom too.
Yeah.
So, it kind of solves all those problems. Poof, the tagline is stains disappear, strips disappear, and poof, your teeth are white. Kickballs is super easy. Kick balls.
That's incredible. I'm going to try one. I've never tried it before, but I'm sure it does have a good effect.
I'll tell you what the biggest challenge was. Taste. There are other caffeinated gums on the market. Mm-hmm. None of them taste good except ours.
So what's in there that makes them taste good?
It's sweetened with xylitol, and we worked on the formulation of the flavor for 2 years. It was hard.
So how long has this been out?
Also, we launched them both at Christmas last year.
That's right, from COVID. COVID was good to you. It was actually good for me too. It was a good time for my business. So getting back to dentistry, have you ever faced ethical dilemmas that, balancing beauty, medicine, and the media?
No, really, no. I mean, I've always followed the guidelines of the American Dental Association, and it was never a challenge for me to do that. I think that, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And, like I said earlier, my favorite patients are the ones that come and say, Doc, you've been doing this for 40 years. Just give me the most beautiful, natural smile. But there are people that come in and they've got like an idea of what they want. Sometimes it's a little difficult to navigate around that. But, so far, knock on wood, I've never been sued in my life. I've made everyone happy. The cool thing about what I do versus what you do is when you're working on a patient, they're asleep and you can't predict exactly how they're going to heal. With teeth, it's a whole different thing. My patients are awake. I could try in their teeth and show it to them. And if they're like, oh, okay, I like that. But
I know mine requires more skill, Bill. I'm
yeah,
kidding. I'm totally
in
kidding.
a way,
I'm totally
I have
kidding.
the advantage of actually being able to show people exactly what their teeth look like before I cement them on.
That's very great. It's very good.
And that, because there are times when I'll make something, I think, oh my God, this looks great. I'll try it in patients like, I want them a little lighter, a little darker, or I want my front teeth a little longer in the side. And I can do that. I'm the only dentist in LA with my own lab right in the office.
Wow.
So we can change those things before we cement their teeth. And then, we know we're going to have a home run.
And how long can that veneer, how long do they last, would you say?
These are 25 years old.
25 years old.
Yours are almost as old.
Yeah. I remember I broke mine biting into an olive, and God,
Olive
thank
pit,
you for being there in the middle of the night to help me with mine. I'll tell you what's great about your industry, which we always laugh about in our community, is, teeth whitening, teeth cleaning, veneers, whatever. And you're there with your celebrity smiling. This is my dentist that put my teeth in, that did and a plastic surgeon. I don't know who this guy is.
All right.
This is all natural. They'll never get in front of a picture with us, hardly. When they do, they do. But we always are like, oh, these dentists have it. That's so great. That's so great. It's wonderful.
The other advantage that we had that I didn't even think about till Extreme Makeover hit? When people are watching that show, every single person there needs a dentist or goes to a dentist.
That's
or
true.
should. Not everybody would go to a plastic surgeon,
true.
even if they needed one, or a weight trainer, or a hairstyle, whatever. But pretty much everybody goes to the dentist.
Everybody does.
So it expanded our market tremendously.
Yeah, you're so right. Everybody does need a dentist.
You know what? During the prime of the show, I was seeing 200 new patients a month. Can you imagine? I had a team of 5 doctors working with me, and every Wednesday, we would see 50 new patients. I would do 50 patient consults every Wednesday.
Yeah, it was a lot of
for
hard
years.
Work. We were up till 3 a.m. doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It benefited everybody, patients alike, everybody. You built multiple successful businesses. What advice would you give dentists who want to move, beyond the dental chair, so to speak?
Go to school.
Business school?
Business school. When we started Discus Dental, I realized I was a complete liability in board meetings. Like, I knew teeth and I knew how to make products, but like when it sat there, we had sat there and looked at graphs and charts and EBIT. I'm like, I didn't know anything. So I had 2 choices: either be a bump on a log or go back to school. So I did. So it was not easy. I mean, I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym, then getting to the office at 8, working from 8 to 5, and then coming home, having dinner with the wife and kids, and then running off to UCLA extension courses and learning, accounting and all these business things that they don't teach in dental school.
Plus, you had one of the busiest practices in the world.
Yeah.
So, a lot of responsibility for you.
And when we were doing Extreme Makeover, I couldn't see patients and film on the same day. My patients didn't want to come in and see all this. So I was doing it on the weekends. So I was basically treating patients 50 to 60 hours a week. And then on the weekends, when we were filming Saturday and Sunday, I was putting in 15-hour days. Like, I don't even know how I did it all.
Yeah, I remember those days. This is Dr. Garth Fisher on the Cutting Edge. I'm here with world-renowned dentist, Dr. Bill Dorfman, who's in Beverly Hills. And just touching on the Extreme Makeover days, I remember those. I would get home at 11 o'clock. I'd be working till 3 a.m. on other things, get back up at 6. And there just wasn't enough time in the day to do all that was required. And plus, we had all the publicity and all the different things, interviews and traveling around, which was very fun and gratifying. But it's a load. It's a load to do when you have a busy practice like we had. So when you're building your team in dentistry and life, we'll get into LEAP in a minute, which is a very important thing. What are the traits that you look for in somebody you want to work with or you want to have on your team?
I mean, I think probably the most important thing is just commitment to work hard. You meet all these young people today that are looking for hacks and looking for a fast way. And I teach a leadership program, which we'll talk about in a little bit, called LEAP. And I have so many young people come up to me and say, Dr. Bill, what's the secret of success? It's no secret. Work your buns off and work harder than anybody and you'll be successful. And that's what worked for me, and that's what worked for you.
Yeah, you got to put hard work into it, because there's always somebody smarter and more talented, whatever, but at least you can even the playing field by working really, really hard. And I think part of the new generation, I was speaking with somebody else about this, and I agree. The iPhone's been fantastic. I mean, everybody knows what the iPhone can do for us. But, everybody's like, I was going to church, and the pastor says everybody's in this praying position all day where they're just looking down at their iPhone and they don't know what's going on, and they've forgotten how to engage with people, how to develop relationships, really articulate, look in somebody's eyes, meet them, and develop a relationship. And that's important too. And people do want the fast way. They don't want to work as hard as we worked.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I started LEAP. So LEAP is a motivational leadership program for high school and college students that we do at UCLA every year. It's a 1 week long program. This year it will be July 12th to 18th. We have 400 kids come, and we basically teach these kids skills that they need to be successful in life.
It's amazing. This is an amazing thing you do.
Time management, money management, marketing. We teach them how to write a resume, how to apply for a job. And the cool thing is, and you've done this for me, is on Friday we do a mentor workshop where the kids get to sit and ask over 100 professionals the secrets of their success and how they overcame challenges. My mantra, Garth, in life is learn so you can earn and return. And just like you, I grew up poor as poor could be, and we have both been very, very blessed in our careers. And so I feel a real obligation to give back. And this is my give back. We get 400 kids every year. 60% of the kids that come on scholarship. So I go out and raise money, and I put my own money into this program so that these kids can come. It's a 501c3, and we are in our 19th year this year.
This LEAP is amazing, absolutely amazing. For anybody out there who's got children, this is a great place to send them to really help them, and it's in town. I'm sure you get people from all over the world. Yeah, UCLA.
Yeah, but we have kids from everywhere. We get kids from Israel, from Egypt, from England, from 40 kids from Australia every year.
Name some of the speakers you've had there.
Well, I mean, Paula Abdul comes every year. Richard Branson, Niecy Nash, Anthony Hopkins, Mark Wahlberg, Kathy Bates, Chris Voss. Pentatonics comes all the time. Michael Strahan. I mean, it's an amazing lineup of people.
Did you fix that gap in Michael's teeth?
That's a funny story. But no.
I want to get back to the LEAP though. But how can people engage and learn about LEAP, where they can send their kids? Where do
Just go online, www.leapfoundation.com.
LEAP.
LEAP Foundation.
19th year, and you're doing it in July this year.
July 12th to the 18th.
Yeah. I know I've tried to go several times. I was in Europe, but it's all about our kids. We're going to talk about your other. You've got 3 great daughters, and one is in singing. We'll talk about her in a minute. But it's not about us anymore. It's about what our kids and what we can do for them. All the world's kids, basically.
Right.
So you've raised millions of dollars through this charity, right? I mean, how do people donate?
They just go online and they can donate. There's a little portal on there for them to do that. I'm in some really cool groups like Tiger 21 and YPO, and a lot of those people have donated money to help sponsor kids. But 60% of the kids who come on scholarship. These are kids from low-income families. They're A and B students, where they, we really teach them the skills to be successful in life. And it's so gratifying to see these kids go through the program and just go out and excel in the world.
Oh, by 19 years, you've seen some of them now that are adults and probably very successful.
Marriages, kids, starting company. I mean, it's been amazing.
Do you have any, in a minute, could you tell us about one of the favorite experiences you've seen with one of the children?
You know what? This was really touching. This was the very first LEAP program. I had a kid, 6'4", come up to me from Salina, Kansas. He said, Dr. Bill, last week I wanted to commit suicide. The only reason I didn't do it is because my parents already paid for this program, and I didn't want to give them another reason to be disappointed.
Oh, my God.
And I said, what's going on, Sky? He goes, I live in Kansas. I'm the only gay person in my whole school. I get beat up and teased all the time.
Right.
And I just couldn't take it anymore. I pulled out my phone. I called my friend Darian, who's 6'4" and also gay, one of the most successful businessmen. I connected them, and Darian's been mentoring Scott all these years. And Scott's had an amazing life.
That's a great story. And you've also always been known for your positivity, your energy, and just being happy, which I've never seen you down on any one day. What keeps you grounded and motivated? I mean, what's your life like? What do you do in a day that keeps you in that spot?
You know, honestly, Garth, I wake up so grateful every morning. I don't know. Look, we all get thrown a curveball once in a while. I just fix it and move on. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't dwell on stuff.
Do you disconnect?
I think an important part, I don't disconnect, but I think I put things in perspective. You know, if God forbid one of my kids was diagnosed with like incurable cancer, mm-hmm. yeah, I'd be depressed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's like, I crashed my car. Okay, I'm alive. You're alive. Move on. You know, I mean, I don't know. Stuff like that just doesn't affect me, you know, and I think that's an important part of being able to maintain a happy composure all the time. Right. I just don't let things that really aren't important drag me down. And I don't know.
Yeah, you do have to change, or not change, but look at it from a different perspective. And I know Tony Robbins always says, you know, he says, look, you can't have gratitude and be sad at the same time. I mean, so you always have to look at it, the bottles, you know, glasses half full. And I know, like life, you know, when we were going through school and you get a test back, you made a 97, 98 out of 100. And the first thing you do is, what did I miss? At 2 points, at 3 points, what was it? Drive me crazy. You're spending time worrying about that. It's like, you know what? You just made a 97. You made a 98. You made a 90, whatever it was. Be happy about that. Your health is the most important. Your happiness, your friends, your family. Right. You know, there's so much to be grateful for and happy. And if you really concentrate on that, you know, you got to tidy the other things up and deal with them, but it shouldn't be the focus of your life and your existence. But you go to the gym daily. I know. I see you doing these really weird, crazy things where you have your arms out and you're like horizontal.
It's called a flag.
The flag. How in the heck do you do that?
I was a gymnast. And so one day I went to the gym and I saw this little dude. He was like 85 pounds. Go up there and poof. I'm like, how do you do that? So he showed me and I practiced, and sure enough, I could do it. So I did the cover of a magazine doing that. I just did the cover of Men's Health.
Oh, wow. Were you doing that then? Or is it
on Men's Health? No.
Can you still do the flag?
Yeah, I did it this morning at the gym.
Oh, I got a flagpole out there. Maybe we'll take a picture out front. Okay, that's fantastic. And so your diet, tell us about your diet. You don't eat sugar, no candy?
No, I eat sugar. I mean, I think my diet is just good. It's not like I don't eat red meat. That's the only thing I don't eat. And I don't eat like tons of fried food. But like, yeah, I'll have candy sometimes. I'll have dessert. I just don't eat.
That's different than you were 5 years ago.
No, I just won't eat the whole cake. I'll have a piece of cake. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I start every morning off with a protein shake. In fact, I just signed a deal. I'm the spokesperson for Flip My Life Protein, which is a great protein. So I have that every morning for breakfast. For lunch, I bring it to work. I just have a sandwich and a piece of fruit. And dinner, I have whatever, usually chicken.
Okay. Well,
I just don't eat a bunch of crap.
You can't see him, but he's ripped. He's got an 8-pack, and he's always in good shape.
12.
And 12. You could have 12. Well, I've got a 1. That makes lucky 13.
I have a 6-pack. You have a keg.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I'm very happy and content. So what does true success mean to you at this stage of your life and career?
I mean, honestly, just living my mantra, which is, I said, learn so you can earn and then return. I mean, you and I have been so incredibly blessed in so many ways, and just making the world a better place with all the crap that's going on today. Mm-hmm. To me, that's the real value of success. Having the notoriety that we were able to get is nothing if it isn't used to really help change people's lives and make their lives better. These social media people that want to be famous, like, that bullshit. I don't care about that. But if what my notoriety will give me the ability to do is to help reach out to kids that will come to my LEAP program, or help people with dental issues, to me, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. I feel the same way about that.
I know you do. That's why we bond.
That's right. So I'm here with Dr. Bill Dorfman. We're on the cutting edge with Dr. Garth Fisher. That's me, obviously. We're going through a lot of different things. And how do you see the future of dentistry evolving in the next 10 years, both ethically and technologically?
It will be very interesting because I know that AI is taking over a lot. And, a lot of people are having their gallbladders removed, robotically. I don't see that happening in dentistry yet. It may one day, but, there are a lot of factors that I don't think AI could account for. The patient's head position, the amount of saliva, the fact that they may gag or choke, or it's going to have to be a very, very, very sophisticated AI to be able to do what we do, just to do a filling.
Same with plastic surgery.
Yeah,
I don't see that ever replacing.
And I think one of the things that makes you and me successful in our field is that, over 40 years we've been practicing,
Not me. I'm not over 40 yet. I had longer residency.
Well, because you're
I'm only
plastic
I'm
surgeon.
52.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So I've been practicing 42 years, and you do learn how to be better and better and better with time. Your whole education was much longer than mine. I was 24 years old and done. I was a full-fledged dentist at 24. You were still in medical school till 30.
I had 34 when I was done, or something like that. So what would be one message you'd give to young professionals that are chasing success, whether it's dentistry, any field? What would it be?
And this is something I pound out at LEAP, copy genius.
Copy genius.
When I got to Beverly Hills, the last thing they needed was another cosmetic dentist. What did I do? I found the 5 most successful cosmetic dentists. I called them up. I said, hey, can I shadow you? And I went into their offices and I sat there and I absorbed like a sponge, and they all said, you're kind of weird. I said, yeah, I know. I mean, most dentists that come and shadow us just watch us drill teeth. That's not what I did, Garth. I got there 10 minutes early. I watched them bring the patient in. I looked at the forms the patient filled out. I watched the way they brought the patient into the treatment room. I watched the way they diagnosed the treatment. I watched the way they treatment planned them. I watched the way they went over finances. And then I watched them excuse the patient and get paid. I watched the whole thing.
You watched the whole process. You took bits and pieces from it.
Yeah, but after watching those 5 dentists, within 1 year, I was more successful than all 5 of them. And they'd been practicing for years and years and years because I took the best of each of their practices and made it better.
Copy genius. That's a really great point. And you teach that in LEAP to kids that are trying to be better or just start, whatever they're doing. So let's switch a little bit. I know you've got 3 daughters, and they're all fantastic. I know them all, and beautiful and bright, and somebody that you'd be very proud of if you're a parent.
And the sweet thing is our girls grew up together, and and Georgie and Naraya are best friends, and let's start at the bottom. We'll start with Georgie. Okay, my youngest. So I have twins. She's the younger twin. She came to me 3 years ago and said, Dad, I want to start a clothing brand. Oh, that's not a competitive market at all, right? So she's killing it, Garth.
Copy genius.
She's in Nordstrom's now. She's I mean, her sales just keep going up and up and up and up every month. And it's not easy, but I mean, it's just super exciting to watch her brand grow. And she has been incredibly successful. She got a huge write up in Vogue. Like, and
Fantastic.
the coolest
Just like
thing
Dad.
is she comes to Leap every year, and kind of right after she launched All My Love is the name of the clothing line, she came to Leap and told all the students how to start up a business. And then every year for 3 years, she's come back and given them kind of an update on what her business has done, how you get a business license, and it's been amazing. Her twin sister, Charlie, pairs influencers with brands and social media. One of her biggest is Hulu. She does Love Island and a bunch of their other shows, and she absolutely loves what she does. They both met really great, sweet young men that I'm pretty sure they're both going to marry. And then my oldest daughter was a scientist. She was working in a lab, and crazy story. So she was in a COVID lab and they closed the lab down. She was kind of down. I said, you know what? Let's go water skiing. We would go out to Tennessee. My dear friend Dennis Wells is a dentist out there. And that was a fun family thing we did for years. And we come home and our plane's 4 hours late. And so we go into Dennis's, he's got a gym in the back with a sound stage because his brother's the music director for Dolly and Reba and all that.
Her name is Anna.
And my daughter's Anna.
Yeah.
And so we're all doing karaoke. And Anna's like, Dad, turn that machine off. I can play. So she starts playing the piano and singing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I always knew she had a great voice. I honestly didn't know she still played the piano. And she's singing this song. I'm like, that's amazing. So sneaking, I take out my iPhone and I record it. Because I knew if she saw me doing it, she'd be, Dad, stop, right? She didn't even know I had this recording. Next day, I'm in my office. Diane Warren comes in, probably the most preeminent, prolific songwriter of our time. And I'm like, hey, Diane, listen to this. She's like, oh my God, what is she doing tomorrow? I go, nothing. She's unemployed. She goes, I want her in my studio. Her voice is perfect for my next song. I'm like, all right. She goes, get her on the phone. So I call Anna up and I'm like, Anna, can you go to Diane Warren's studio tomorrow? I thought it was for like a sound test or something. No, she had her record the song.
Where can they find her singing right now?
She's all over Spotify.
What's her name?
Anna, Ana Sky, Sky. I told her, if you're going to be a dentist, keep Dorfman. But come on, as a singer.
She's been performing and she's
on
in New York.
She's on a tour right now. She's opening 24 cities with Jesse McCartney.
Wow. So you guys have to look for his daughter. Anna Sky. But
and All My Love clothing.
All my love clothing. This is Dr. Garth Fisher with The Cutting Edge. I'm here with Dr. Bill Dorfman. And if you missed this show on the radio, you can catch it on Instagram on Garth Fisher MD Cutting Edge. And I want to thank KCBS, Odyssey, our sponsors, Cal and Mike, our producers, Cutting Edge team. And we'll see you or hear from you next week. Again, Dr. Garth Fisher, The Cutting Edge. Thank you for being here, Bill. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.